So we welcome everyone. I'd like to start with a question I want to run by everybody. I want everybody to answer. How do you work the balance? Because this is to each one of you. I want each one of you to answer. How do you work the balance, I'm getting a frog, between the push to be commercial, sellable, and versus being innovative and creative and true to your muse? How do you walk that line in today's changing market? Laurie, I'm going to start with you.
Wow, I don't know if I'm on that line, actually.
you just had a Joni Mitchell tribute.
Yeah, this is the most commercially successful thing that I've had, and I think that had everything to do with the fact that people knew the songs. So, a lot of times when you do original music, you take a lot of risks with that. So you also take a lot of risks when you cover, as you know, an artist, or you pay tribute. Roseanna's done that as well, and there's a lot of comparisons and things like that. So it's kind of risky to do that, but I did, and so. But honestly, to be totally honest, I actually have always just followed my creative mind and heart. And this Joni record was absolutely just a continuum. So there was no, I wasn't trying to have a hit with this record. It was just part of what I've always been doing. And I mean, for me, that's my advice to singers is to, stay the course and be authentic, be who you are. And, that's really what people want to hear. People don't want to hear something that's been contrived to please you. They want to hear you. They want to hear who you are and what you have to say.
Very good.
Amen.
Rene.
Oh, well, I am a fierce believer in knowing yourself and experimenting with things. If you don't know yourself, experimenting so that through the process of elimination, you'll know, well, I'm not sure what is me, but I know that's not me. And that there is, like Laurie said, an element, a huge element. I won't say fearlessness because fear is going to accompany it anyway. Mm-hmm. So you might as well make friends with the fear and say, come on, we got stuff to do. And go ahead and do what you have to do. And I also believe that within every person, not just musicians or artists, that there is an internal tuning fork, so to speak, that we are born with. Mm-hmm. And when we're very small, we vibrate right in harmony with that tuning fork. But the older we get, we worry about what people think about us and what they say and what they're going to write about us. And we get farther and farther away from that inner note that we're each born with. So for me, when I am resonating with that note, I know it. I know it just as well as I know that I am black and female. I know that note. This is the note I resonate with. And then at night, this is how I can tell I'm not resonating with the note. When at night, just before you go to sleep, and you start thinking about things you did and that inner feeling that you get, like, I don't think this is right, but what I'm going to do? So you just get up the next morning and do the same wrong thing again. That's when I know I'm not resonating. And the thing that I found out is when I try to explain it to people who are not artists, they don't get it. And they want to know why. Like, why are you going to do it? And what's going to happen if you... And I had to be comfortable saying, I don't know. I just know this is what I have to do. I don't have to know the reason why I have to do it, and I don't have to know what's going to happen later. And I just know I have to do it. And each time I have done that, I have never, ever regretted it. But I have regretted many times when I didn't do it. So the way I feel about it, I would rather, my last thought before I die, I would rather that thought to be, I'm so glad I did, than I wish I had. That's
Ms. Callaway.
I think you both have brought up very important points, and that's one of the reasons I'm so happy to be here, is to hear everybody's take on this very interesting subject. I live in the corner of traditional pop and jazz, which is a complicated, it's a complicated place to be, but it's an exciting place to be. And I also am a very spiritual person, so I feel that a lot of what I do and how I get to my tuning fork is the spiritual energy of being a human being. One of the most influential quotes of my life, I walked into my father's library when I was 10 years old and pulled out an Andre Gide book. And in the book it said, art is the collaboration between God and the artist, and the less the artist does, the better. It is a profound guiding quote, and it means basically living with the unknown. It means that every moment is an opportunity to have a duet between effort and grace. And everything I do, to me, the art of my life is the same thing as having a good relationship with my love. If I'm true to myself, and I'm true to this world that we live in, a world that's always changing, that's fraught with tremendous challenges and disturbing new realities and bizarre lifestyle changes, such as being glued to your computer. I mean, it's a very interesting world we live in. So the art of not only being true to my artistic and spiritual understanding and my tuning fork, but also, where is the world? Where are the people that I've gotten to know through the years who I sing to? Nightclub, after symphony hall, after theater, wherever I'm performing, this is my family. And I really care about the people I sing to. So to me, when I put a show, when I do a CD, it's like, well, what do I need to say right now? What's important to me right now? And where are my friends? Where's my family? Where are we all together? It's always about we for me. And I feel that I am a bridge between different kinds of music. I try not to judge myself or feel like, oh my God, I'm not jazz enough, I'm too theatrical, I'm not, whatever it is. I try to be true to my hybrid of, I say, what's my favorite color? It's the rainbow. It really is. And so I try to bring every day truth and authenticity and adventure and love. To me, the guiding principle is love. How can I love? How can I share my love? How can I share my soul? And that's why I do what I do. And it's always what I come from. And so I think when you lead with love, incredible things can happen. And that's why I've had such a wonderful life so far.
Nice.
Mr. Harris?
Wow.
I'll take another.
You really want me to do this, huh?
I mean, you're representing all the males out there.
Oh, no. Don't do that to me. I won't. I've had such a varied and wonderful life, and I'm still going on strong. I've realized a long time ago as a young boy of color that life isn't fair. And that's what you deal with. And it's a wonderful thing to understand that at an early age, because then you start believing that you must start loving and understanding yourself. And then in turn, that teaches other people how to treat you. And I had some wonderful mentors, from my mother to my grandfather, to musicians and horsemen and people around me, who told me that through life, you have only one thing, and that's yourself, because everyone else is taken. And I've really carried that through my development as an artist, that when I step on stage, there is really nothing that I need to sell, because how I am on stage and off stage is the same. I live that creed every day. And I ponder the thought, especially with younger musicians who are artists, who come to me and they want to discover themselves on stage. And I say, really? Because to me, there's no difference with the stage and whatever. I'm a fool on and off.
That's it.
It is.
And you know me for years. I'm the same now as you see me live in performances. And I carry that with me every night. I had my niece with me for 10 days, and it was the longest 10 days. If you ever, I don't have any children, but teenage girls, I don't know how you raise them. Wow, I don't know how you do it.
They raise you.
And you can't hit them, which is really incredible. And I took her with me on 9 of the tours, 9 of the dates, and by the first date, she's like, wow, Allan, this is really do the same songs every night, and you're doing this. By the third night, she understood it, because she understood that every night when I perform between 500 or 1,500 people, I have people that smile at me. That's the last thing I see before I go to bed, is people smiling at me. It's the greatest gift that I ever gave to myself, was the smile of the audience in my mind. So for me to pontificate and say what it is I want to do, how I want to grow, I really don't understand that, because I've been a constant since I've been a child. Because being a man of color, there's been hard lessons that I've had to learn. And the one lesson I have learned is a lot of the world is not going to like you. Live with that and move on. You're not here to convince them to like you, because at the end of the day, they're not going to jump in the grave with you. So you must understand that there's things that you need to do. And fortunately for me, I discovered this thing called performing that has left me a very selfish person in that respect. I'm glad that there's an audience that carries that with me. So on that note, I just like to perform and see people smile, and that's all I do. And I'm not here to really discover or become commercial, because I can't give up or take away from what I am naturally. That is just me.
So you never think about walking the line from being sellable versus your muse. It's all in one and the same for you.
It has to be, because that's all you have is yourself at the end of the day. I mean, what is there left except you? And if you can't carry that with you into your voice and your performance and your playing, then you're just putting up a front, basically, and your audience sees through that eventually. So in turn, you're recreating yourself through every project, trying to find out what the audience wants, when you have to realize that all they want is for you to be yourself.
That's it.
And once you start the journey immediately, then life becomes wonderful.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Jana. How do you walk that line as an artist? I saw you perform at Joe's Pub.
I dance on the tightrope all the time. First off, I just want to thank you for putting this wonderful panel together.
I'm just honored, because I love all of you and respect you so much, and I appreciate everybody being here. We're all in the same boat, sailing down the river or up the river or wherever we go. And
Down the river, I think.
So I really appreciate everybody being here, and I really want to pass on some valuable information for everybody. Like I said, so it's not just a bitch fest, or if that's proper to say that.
Can I say
That's
it?
a really good name for a
Can I say it?
That's it. New Jazz and a bitch fest. No, but I was delighted when you finally released your project, because here you are, you're wearing all these different hats. You were getting the label going. You've always been known for having a wide variety of creative artists in world music. But in your own music and your writing, you're very supportive of singer-songwriters. And that's what you work on a lot yourself.
Yeah,
Right?
well, I just want, in answer to your question of the commercial versus
Yes.
art, I mean, first off, I'm 100% in agreement with everything that got said here, and I don't know anything other either besides just being myself, And what is interesting, as I run a record label, and that happened, I started my label by putting out my own first record, trying to get it signed. Couldn't get it, I got a couple nibbles, couldn't get it signed. I really believed in it. I said, okay, well, I'm put it out. I put the name Motema on it. Motema means heart. I mean, the language of Lingala. It's all the way back from Africa, because I felt like I like essentials, really things that are to the core, and thought that reflected that. And so, from putting that out, I then, struggled to try and get it promoted. And I am a great believer in do-it-yourself, actually. And a lot of people come to me to talk about putting out a record with the label, And I tell them they're actually better off, particularly in this environment, to put it out yourself, because you can print it, you've already made the record, you know. You can print it for not that much and take home the entire percentage of what you're gonna be selling them for, because unfortunately the reality of today is that if you don't have a certain type of projects, it's very hard to get broad publicity. So then and yet you really can get out and work and make a living. Maybe not make a killing, but you can make a living doing what you do and bringing yourself to the world in various ways. And depending upon what it is that you do, it depends upon how you should be bringing it out. But I mean, I just want to bring a case in point with Rene. I mean, Rene, first off, I fell in love with Rene's musicianship in 2005, and I couldn't believe my luck when I had the opportunity to actually put her out on a label. And but you know, we were working, and it's hard to grab that attention. When she came in with the Earth Kit project, I was like, that's the stuff. I know I can take that, and we can get things up to that next level again. And it's not that the other stuff isn't outrageously amazingly wonderful. It is. It's just that we had kind of a handle that I thought that Rene was just the right person to do that thing. So you sort of have these, the business side of it is actually a creative art firm as well. I have to follow my heart and my instinct about and it is really instinctual. It's just like, well, this feels like it's going to work, this is going to run, you know, and not that everything I put out is commercial, by far, it's really not, but the, you know, the process even of the creativity of choosing how you're going to promote, and it's part of the fun of the game, and I think it's very important to look at yourself. It's kind of like, well, a chicken lays an egg. I think of musicians kind of like chickens. Well, we made this egg, you know. We made this egg. And a rooster. Well, the rooster. But at some level, by the time we made the CD, when the CD is a CD, now it's a product, okay? And we don't have to be embarrassed, what's very important is to go, I did my best product here, and of course we love it and we're connected to it, but at the same point it's something that's getting out there in the market. Us as singers, though, we're spiritual messengers. I agree with you. That's what the job is. So when we're out doing what we do, then we better be right on the money there. But that process, and I've worked with it a lot, and it's very hard to kind of separate yourself and kind of look at it objectively and put it out. But that's kind of, I think, part of the game. It's part of the game. But in creating what you're going to create, I mean, like Roseanna had a Grammy-nominated record on our label, also a tribute project, right? Beautiful project. And you know, she and the project she has right now is outrageously wonderful too. This the Claire Fisher project, which she's showcasing. You know, and she brought it to me, and it was very difficult because I was not able to put it out for a few different reasons, and it's, you know, but here we are working because we have to work all together. And sometimes things I can work on, some I can't, but I couldn't be more in support of her artistry because she's always in there in the trenches doing it. And all of y'all, there's when you give yourself to this music, it's a tremendous act of giving. You know, that's what it is to create.
Yes.
So I don't know if that
Yeah,
answers.
And Ad Motema, so you do consider what would be sellable for you, what writers would write about, what you know, versus, or do you see it all the same too? Is that what you're saying, that you're just putting out creative music and then some?
No, what I'm saying is that the process of marketing is a creative process.
In itself.
In and of itself. That's creative also, that there's an art of the selling. There's an art of the selling. And that certain, and different people are going to, like different record labels are interested in different things.
Yes.
That's because they each have, everybody who's running it has their own aesthetic, what they're kind of interested in promoting. I mean, I'm very interested in promoting original projects, projects which are written by the person, because I'm interested in expanding the art form. And I'm interested in, you know, people who are fiercely dedicated to their own personal vision, fiercely dedicated and clear about who they are.
Great, thank you.